Hello. It's been a while since I've actually done one of these, but yeah, so hi. I'm Anne. I write things, lots of different things. Oh my gosh. I write a lot of books and yeah, stuff. So it's been a while. I kind of wanted to just do a general update, kind of explain what's been going on. I had like other videos I could have like edited, but I like watched through them. Okay, I watched through them and I realized I was kind of floundering in some of them. I was floundering in my last vlog and I don't know if it's at all noticeable to anyone who's not me, because a lot of the floundering is less like I'm recognizing when I'm saying things that I don't agree with now because I have more information, and you know, it just happens sometimes. Sometimes I like my emotions are kind of behind the actual reality of what's happening, and so I don't always know what's going on. You know, I don't always have a great idea of what's happening, but oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, it's some blood. Anyways, so life's been kind of crazy for me recently. I figure I should actually just tell you. I don't know. But my dog had to have surgery and it's been kind of like a long rehab process. And so I had to kind of pull back on other parts of my life. So we've gone to maintenance, which is where like I've been writing. One thing I want to say is I did actually end up temporarily, okay, this is temporarily, I feel the urge still to work on it, but I have temporarily taken a break from Project Star and doing the edits for that. This is primarily because like initially I felt like I didn't know what the theme was. I got kind of like confused. What exactly am I aiming for when it comes to writing this thing? What do I really want to focus on? Often when I write stuff, right? I have like this whole, the world is sort of built around these characters' problems, and it's meant to kind of push this theme and the character arcs and the whole world. It's meant to be very cohesive, right? Like Project Underground, the problems that they face externally and internally and thematically and like all the other things, they all tie into each other, and they're all built around this like central theme that I really wanted to like go through and cover. That's just how I tend to write these things. And so I felt like I didn't know what the central theme was for Project Star. So I was like, okay, I need to do a reset and just think about it, stop like actually working on it and just do big thinking, right? And so I did that. So I went and I outlined it, but not like a new outline. I went and I took the outline that I currently had and I made basically a character arc outline where I said what the main character was feeling at every chapter. Like what was their progression of their emotions, what were they feeling, what was the progress basically. And like that really helped me figure out the theme. And the main character kind of has a negative character arc. I consider it a negative character arc because it's like path of self-destructiveness. Self-destruction. That's like a path of self-destruction for her, which is one of my favorite character arcs to write. I love writing people who are kind of like, they're not bad, you know, they probably have their problems, things are, you know, maybe a little difficult, but they're good people when it comes down to it. And then slowly self-destruction, and her process of self-destruction is really interesting. So I was like, okay, I understand the theme. But then I realized through writing that character arc that the main character deals with like a lot of self-hate and a lot of like self-destruction and like a lot of just like guilt and all that stuff. And I was like, you know, while I am going through this sort of like stressful and difficult part in my life, you know, where things are like, I'm not doing well emotionally. Like I'm doing better now. That's why we're making videos now. But I was not doing well like last month or whatever. And so I was like, I need to not write this right now, because the way I write books, I guess, is, and so I don't know if other people are like this. People probably are, but whenever I write my character's emotions, even if I know what's gonna happen next, I end up getting so invested. It like makes me like, my brain starts feeling those emotions, and I know if I wrote that in a space where I'm not mentally healthy, that it would be kind of dangerous for me. And if I write it in a point where I am feeling really like in a relatively good place, it'll be really cathartic, which is why I like writing these things, because it is really cathartic and it does really help me in terms of like processing this stuff. But I need to make sure I do that when I'm in a healthy space. So I took a temporary break from that. I may start it up like next month, or I may just not. I may wait a couple more months until like I know that I'm doing better and I don't make any backslides, so fingers crossed. But in the meantime, while I've been doing that, I went ahead and started working on Project Slime, which is my sci-fi sapphic romance. And It's like, it's really fun. I really like that one. Well, the themes for that one are a lot less crazy than the themes for my Project Star and stuff. And even Project Underground has some kind of intense themes, but Project Underground is all about healing. Project Slime deals with some really interesting stuff. It's about like social rejection, about like dealing with that and moving forward from that, and like finding your people, and it's very fun. Also, for Project Star, I did actually do an additional re-outline after the character arc, so I just like reworked a bunch of stuff because I was watching these videos and someone was talking about how like the characters were just acting so dumb. That was like, wait, that's my characters. That's my characters. That's why I'm feeling so weird about it, and like weird about some of the like processes that happen and steps that happen in the story, because I feel like these characters should not be that dumb, okay? This is not a book where they should be that dumb. I will probably write a book where they should be dumb. There's this one book I really want to write about like a bunch of rich kids and like a toxic friend group and like a yacht. It's gonna be so much fun. It's like a horror. It's gonna be vicious and violent, and they're gonna be really dumb, and it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna lead funny. But this book, Project Star, is not meant to be dumb. Like, the characters are not really meant to be dumb. So I went and I reworked everything, and Project Slime has been so much fun. And one thing that's really interesting is Project Underground, one of the main characters, like, they are basically like childhood friends to lovers sort of things, but one of the main characters is demisexual, and so the way that he feels like attraction to people is not, it's like not really physical, it's through like connection, you know? And it's through like these really deep emotional bond, this deep root, it's through this really deep emotional bond that he has with the other main character. And so like going from that, where it's like the attraction is very like, there's very little of it that's actually physical, like it gets there, but like they do have like a physical relationship, but that's not where the attraction builds from. And going from that, where the attraction is like, the, you know, so intertwined with their actual like relationship with each other, to this book where they're literally just meeting and neither of them are like on the asexual spectrum, and they're just like really just like into each other just like physically to begin with. So interesting how that's like working out and like how that sort of plays itself off. It's so much fun, but so different, and that's always like a joy to do. So that's what's going on with that. I'm the type of person, okay, for all that I pants my first draft of a novel, I am very much like, I love structure. I love structure so much. I love routine. It's like one of my favorite things. So like I need to also rework my strategy for how I want to do edits, because this project like Star thing has made me realize that I don't like my strategy for how I do edits. And I think I'm going to have like a multi-step process where like my first draft, who cares how that comes out? Maybe at some point I'll plan more. I don't know, I'm curious. You know, I gotta follow what my brain says. Step 1, first draft comes out. I'll figure out that stuff later. And then okay, draft. First draft, yay, congrats. Then we take a break, and then we do a reverse outline. And then I think I need to take a break after that, probably just like a couple days. And then I need to go back and edit the reverse outline. And then I need to take it a couple days and then like just go over it. Probably not edit, but just make sure I understand. Then after I do that, I want to return to it, and I want to actually like go through the first draft and put those in the little scene cards in Scrivener and make sure that that's all like ordered, so I know exactly where the new scene should be, where all these things are. And then I want to try to make sure that my outline makes a lot of sense. And at that point, there are two options for me. There are two choices of things that I could possibly want to do. One is that I want to either go through and only write the new scenes that need to happen, just like get a first draft of those out and just finish that up. And once all those little scene cards are complete, I can just consider that second draft done. And then I can go through and go back to draft 3 and actually go through through and line edit and like dev edit on like a particular scene level. So changes I want to make within a scene, I can make those changes and all that stuff. And that, I think that will be really fun. And then after I'm done with that, then I can show it to people. So like draft 4. After draft 4, I can do that. And then I think after it's like in other people's hands, that's when kind of like I no longer have control of it. So I have to like wait to see what the feedback is and then adjust accordingly. I think that's my current plan. I think that's kind of what I want to do, which is gonna be fun. But that's gonna be my plan about what we're gonna do. It's basically like a draft 2, but I'm just making sure it's all at the same stage. So we'll see how that works out. I might just mix 2 and 3 together and do that, but I don't know. There's so many fun things I can think of. So yeah. Anyways, this is what's been going on with me. So just like a lot of chaos, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that things will calm down just like a little bit. I do like being consistent because consistency makes me happy, but if I'm not capable of that, I need to allow myself to be a bit more like chill. Like I need to allow myself to have like, you know, not doing things. So that's my goal. I'm probably gonna, yeah. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna have some fun and we'll see how it works out. So anyways, I hope y'all are having a wonderful rest of your day and thanks for watching. This was a very silly long chat about all the things to do, but I'm excited to be working on all of these and I'm really happy to have like, you know, I'm really happy to have like a better idea of what I want going forward and like all these things. So woo, let's go. Anyways, thanks for watching. I will see you next time, potentially, if you want to. I don't know. Anyways, bye.